Good evening, everybody. This is JD again, and today I'm going to talk to you about something else. Sovereignty of nations. What does that really mean? And where is the threat to the sovereignty of nations? Okay, first and foremost, understand each and every nation in this world is an individual nation made up of individual people, and those people have a right to choose how they wish to be governed. Nobody else has a right to tell them. Just like in the United States, the people here, we choose our republic, but that is our choice. Whereas, I'm going to use another nation, China. The people there decide how they wish to be ruled, how to be governed. And that is nobody else's choice. But we're having a problem. There is a threat to our sovereignty of nations, each and every one of us. It's coming in a little bit at a time. But the truth is, it is a major threat. After World War II, the leading nations got together and said, we need to develop a place where people can settle their disputes, where they can come and meet and discuss what's bothering them and settle it there instead of on the battlefields. And they set up an organization called the United Nations. Nowhere in its original charter is there anywhere that the United Nations is a governing government, a governing body. This one world economy is not real. We have a world economy which is made up of a community of sovereign nations. Each and every nation is its own nation. Each and every nation has the right to set up their own economic sphere. So the bottom line is, the UN is not a governing body. Never was meant to be, never should be. It is actually a threat. And it is being utilized by certain nations to make it or try to push it so that they can destroy their own enemies. And my answer to that is, good fences make good neighbors. What does that mean? In my yard, I conduct the business as I see fit. In your yard, you conduct the business as you see fit. But I don't cross and tell you how to live, and don't you cross and tell me how to live. So the bottom line is, sovereignty of nations must be respected. Yes, we have a large economic sphere, the world. The economics in one country affects the economics in another country. Yes. But it's up to each nation to handle our sphere. It's up to each nation. And if they wish to join together, it's up to the nations, not the UN. The UN is a place for disputing disputes. Like, for example, the Hamas have a complaint against Israel. The Israel has a complaint against the Hamas. Why doesn't the Hamas go to the UN and talk about it? No, because the UN cannot function. Otherwise, there wouldn't be missiles going from Gaza into Israel and troops going from Israel into Gaza. The UN can't do its job as it's chartered. So how in the world can the UN govern a world? It cannot. It can only bring more. Look at Darfur. What has the UN done there to fix the problems? They can't. The UN is not a governing body, will never be a governing body, and should never be a governing body. The one world, no. We are a global economy. not a one world economy, which consists of community of nations, hundreds of nations participating into the global economy, not the one world economy. And each nation is responsible for its economic sphere. In other words, each nation has its sovereignty, and it is to be respected by all nations. That is sovereignty. How they choose to govern themselves is just that, how the people choose to govern themselves. The UN does not need to interfere. The UN needs to back off and start being what it was chartered, a place for disputes, not a governing body. Many nations out there have special, very special heritages, and the UN does not need to destroy that. Hitler tried, and now the UN is trying. We're exchanging a smaller Hitler for a bigger Hitler. It's something for you all to really seriously think about. The UN is not an answer all, but within your nation there is the answer, and it's up to us, each and every nation, to respect the sovereignty, and the United States will do that as long as you respect our sovereignty. For example, Pakistan, India, those terrorists in Pakistan are not respecting the sovereignty of India. Pakistan needs to do something about it. Maybe some help from India and the United States is what Pakistan needs, not money. Together we can. But it's up to Pakistan to recognize she needs help, and it's up to Pakistan then to go and ask for help. And then it's up to us who are asked to provide the help that is asked for, but not dictate to a country how it is to live. We must respect the sovereignty of all nations if we expect our sovereignty to be respected. And remember, we are a global economy, not a one world economy, and we consist of a community of nations, not governed by one body like the UN. I mean, Europe has got the EU. Is it working or is it not? The thing is, we are a global community of nations, and our economy should also reflect that. Thank you. Have a nice day. This is JD, and the sovereignty of the United States will always be strong and solid, and we will respect the sovereignty of nations that respects our sovereignty. Have a nice day. This is JD.